Imagine for a moment, you're online, you have a question, any question, and bam, instantly the answer just appears.
Right there on the screen.
Yeah, without clicking a single link. It sounds incredibly convenient.
Oh, absolutely. Super efficient.
But this zero-click future, it's coming fast, and it isn't just some neat trick. It's already shaking the very foundations of the internet as we know it.
That's a good way to put it, shaking the foundations.
So our mission today on this deep dive is really to unpack Google's AI overviews and this whole AI mode. We want to dig into how these tools are fundamentally changing search.
Yeah, and look at the, honestly, pretty alarming data trends that are emerging already.
Exactly, and what it all means for content creators, for publishers, and ultimately for how you access information online. We've really spent time with the sources you shared to get a handle on this seismic shift.
The implications are huge.
They really are.
Yeah.
So here's the big question we're kind of wrestling with. What actually happens to the internet when, fewer and fewer people click search links anymore? Let's dive in.
Okay.
So the new reality, as we've seen, is that these Google AI overviews, this AI mode, they're specifically designed to just give you the answer right at the top.
Straight away, directly on the search page.
Which means you often don't need to visit the original source websites anymore. It sounds great, frictionless even.
But when you actually look at the data, well, the picture gets pretty stark pretty quickly.
How stark are we talking?
Well, what's really striking is just how fast this vanishing click is becoming the norm. Recent data shows that if you see an AI-generated summary, you are literally half as likely to click through to a website compared to, the old way, the traditional search results.
Half as likely. Wow. Can you put numbers on that?
Yeah, so think about it like this. Typical link clicks were maybe around 15% with standard search.
Okay.
But if there's an AI summary there, that number just plummets down to only about 8%.
8%. That's a huge drop. And here's something that genuinely surprised me from the sources.
What's that?
Even if you are interested in something in that AI summary, the chances of you clicking a link inside the summary, almost zero.
Yeah, that is startling, isn't it?
Why do you think that is? Is it trust? Or is the design just not encouraging it?
That's a great question. And I think it really speaks to the purpose of these AI tools. Pew Research, for instance, they highlighted that only a tiny fraction, like 1% of users.
1%?
Just 1% actually click links within those AI summaries. It seems like the AI answers are designed to feel so complete.
So self-contained.
And exactly. So self-contained that users just feel like, okay, question answered. There's no perceived need to dig deeper.
Which drives this whole zero-click behavior.
Precisely. The search query gets resolved right there on the results page. No further clicks needed. And we've seen this surge dramatically.
How dramatically?
Well, take news-related searches, for example. The zero-click rate just soared from 56%.
Which was already high.
Right. From 56% up to 69% in just 1 year.
Wow. That's a massive shift in how people behave online in such a short time.
It really is. And the real-world impact of this vanishing traffic, it's already starting to bite.
Okay, so connect the dots for us. What does that look like?
Well, the New York Post reported a really significant drop in organic referral traffic. We're talking a fall from about 2.3 billion visits in mid-2024.
2.3 billion.
Down to under 1.7 billion by mid-2025.
That's, 600 million fewer visits? That's not just a number. That's billions of potential readers, customers, engagements just gone.
Vanished from websites, yeah.
So given these, truly dramatic drops, what's the tangible impact? What's happening to the creators and publishers whose entire businesses are built on getting that traffic?
It's leading to a full-blown crisis. Plain and simple. We're seeing high-profile names, HuffPost, The Washington Post, Business Insider, The New York Times.
Big players.
Huge players. They're reporting severe traffic drops anywhere from, say, 18% to, in some cases, a staggering 70%.
70%. That's devastating.
It is. Sources like the Wall Street Journal, even Wikipedia tracks this stuff. They both highlight these drastic decreases.
And the consequences.
Well, the direct consequence, as the sources make really clear, is staff layoffs.
Yeah.
Media outlets are being forced into what's being called crisis mode pivots.
Just trying to survive.
Exactly. It's an immediate, truly existential threat for many of them.
Existential.
Yeah.
That brings us to that quote. Helen Havlack, the publisher of The Verge, used some incredibly stark language. She called it an extinction-level event.
Yeah, extinction-level event. It doesn't get much stronger than that.
What specifically is she pointing to? What makes it feel that dire?
She's really highlighting the breakdown of what people call the web bargain. the unwritten rule.
Explain that bargain.
Okay, so traditionally it's pretty straightforward. Publishers invest time, money, effort into creating valuable content, news, analysis, entertainment, whatever.
Right.
And in return, search engines like Google would send traffic, send readers to that content.
And that traffic meant?
Ad revenue, mostly, which allowed publishers to fund more content creation. It was a cycle.
Okay, got it.
But now, Google's AI tools are providing the answers directly. They're essentially cutting out the middleman, the publisher's website.
So they're removing the need for the click.
Precisely. And when that happens, that long-standing pact, it just breaks down. Publishers are losing the very thing that let them make money from their work.
And without that,
the whole system starts to collapse. How do you fund journalism or in-depth guides or anything if you can't monetize the eyeballs?
It sounds like an incredibly tough spot for publishers. But are there any counter moves? We saw Cloudflare mention with their Act 4 initiative. What's that?
Yeah, Act 4 is definitely a notable response. It's a pretty bold attempt to try and ensure creators get compensated.
How does it work?
The basic idea is to require AI crawlers, the bots that scrape websites, to train AI models to either pay for access or get explicit permission before they take content.
So putting up a kind of toll booth for the AI?
Kind of. It's a significant step towards, reestablishing some control for content owners. Trying to force AI companies to acknowledge the value, the IP they're building their systems on.
A push for the open web to survive, really?
That's the goal, to keep it viable.
Okay, but Google naturally isn't just accepting this crisis narrative lying down, right? Liz Reed, head of search, she pushed back.
That's right. Google has a very different take on the situation.
So how do we square that? Google says clicks are stable, maybe even boosted sometimes, but publishers are reporting these massive drops. Are they just looking at different data?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it really highlights these clashing perspectives. Google's counter-narrative, articulated by Liz Reed and reported by The Verge, it disputes this idea that traffic is collapsing across the board. They argue overall click volumes remain stable, and they even claim that, for some queries, AI overviews can boost engagement with more in-depth content.
Boost engagement?
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe by surfacing content that wouldn't have been found otherwise, or by priming the user for a deeper dive after getting the initial summary. It's not entirely clear.
So maybe the difference is how they define engagement.
That seems likely. Publishers are laser-focused on direct organic referral traffic clicks to their actual site. That's their lifeblood.
Whereas Google might be looking at
maybe total search queries resolved, or user satisfaction. Perhaps how often users find an answer, whether they click or not. So from Google's internal metrics, the picture might not look as bleak.
But that definitely clashes with the lived reality for many publishers.
Oh, absolutely. There's a clear disconnect there.
Okay, so stepping back, why does all this matter to, the average person listening? You're just trying to get an answer quickly, right? What's the big deal?
Well, it raises a really important question about how we access information, and maybe even how we think.
How so?
When you rely on just a single AI-generated summary, when you don't visit multiple sources, you risk missing crucial nuance.
Like what kind of nuance?
Well, vital context, different perspectives, potential biases in the source the AI summarized. Imagine trying to understand, say, a complex political issue or a scientific debate from just one paragraph.
You might get an answer, but maybe not the full picture.
Exactly. Are you getting the rich, balanced understanding? And the AI summary might not tell you about the methodology behind a study it cites or, the known leanings of a news outlet it pulls from. You lose that context.
I see. And what about the content itself?
That's the other big concern. It poses a very real threat to the quality and, crucially, the variety of online content.
Because
if smaller creators, niche publishers, the ones doing really deep dives or covering unusual topics, if they can't make money from their traffic because no one's clicking,
it might just disappear.
Many simply won't survive. And that means less diverse information out there, fewer unique perspectives, maybe a less interesting, less rich internet overall. We could lose those voices. AI might not surface or prioritize.
And if this trend keeps going, it could fundamentally change search itself, couldn't it?
Absolutely. We're seeing a potential shift away from search engines tools designed to point you to websites. Towards answer engines. Systems designed to just give you the answer directly.
Like AI mode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That shift could fundamentally end traditional search as we've known it for decades.
And the consequences go beyond just news, right?
Oh, way beyond. Think about e-commerce, how you discover new products. Think about education, how students research. Think about just, stumbling upon new interests online.
That serendipity factor.
Yeah. If AI always gives you the direct, correct answer immediately, what happens to that journey of discovery? That finding something amazing on a linked page you weren't even looking for?
That could be a real loss. Less exploration.
A potential flattening of the online experience.
Okay, so facing this, this potential extinction level event, as Havlack put it, what can content creators actually do? It feels like the ground is shifting incredibly fast.
Yeah, it really is. For individual creators, smaller outlets, the key takeaway seems to be diversification. You absolutely cannot rely solely on search traffic anymore.
So what does diversification look like?
It means really exploring other revenue streams. Things like memberships, subscriptions, getting support directly from your audience.
Building a community?
Exactly. Focusing on deeper engagement with that community,
Right.
Maybe hosting events, online, or even in person. Anything that builds a direct connection and value proposition outside of Google's ecosystem.
So pivot away from chasing clicks towards direct audience support.
That seems to be the most viable path for many. The old ad revenue from search model. It's looking increasingly shaky.
And what about the bigger players, the larger media platforms? Do they have different options?
They have a bit more leverage generally. They can try negotiating licensing deals directly with AI companies.
Like, you want our content for your AI. Pay us.
Essentially, yes.
Ah.
Or they could explore partnership content, collaborating with AI companies on new formats that maybe share revenue or value in some way.
Interesting. Any other options?
Well, they could implement opt-in models. Maybe allow AI access in exchange for some defined value sharing. Or, conversely, they could restrict access entirely if the terms aren't right, though that's a big move.
So using their scale to negotiate better terms or find new models.
Right. It's about finding new ways to protect and monetize their intellectual property in this rapidly changing landscape.
Okay. So wrapping up this deep dive, it's clear that this creeping dominance of AI-generated search results, it's way more than just a tech story, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It feels like an existential threat to the fundamental structure of the internet that we've all grown up with.
Yeah, it raises these huge questions about, well, how content creators can even survive, and what happens to the whole idea of free, accessible information if nobody clicks the links anymore.
Big, big questions. And while the future of the open web does feel threatened, it's not all doom and gloom, perhaps.
Oh.
Well, innovations like that Cloudflare Act 4 initiative we talked about, they do offer a reminder that maybe the tide can still be turned.
That there are efforts to rebalance things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Efforts to try and ensure value flows back to the people actually creating the information the AI relies on. It's not over yet.
Okay, but as we close out, here's something to maybe mull over, a final provocative thought.
Let's hear it.
If AI provides all the answers directly, if that click truly vanishes, what happens to the sheer joy of discovery?
Good question.
What about the richness you get from exploring lots of different viewpoints? That unexpected wisdom you find when you actually do deep dive into multiple sources yourself?
That serendipity we mentioned.
Yeah. What does this all mean for the very idea of being well-informed in a zero-click world? When the journey of finding information becomes less about exploration.
And more about just immediate singular consumption.
Exactly. What does that future look like? Something to think about.